You've invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades, and you figured out the return on investment for that. And it kind of stunned me. Can you walk us through the math?
In a Wall Street essay, Bill Gates declared vaccines the best investment I've ever made.
There's been over a 20-to-1 return. So if you just look at the economic benefits, that's a pretty strong number compared to anything else.
Based on what you just heard, it sounds as if Bill Gates is making an awful lot of money through vaccinations. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. Let's look at it in context here, because they've cited from the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere. And if we look, this is what this showed you, the best investment I've ever made. And this was written by Bill Gates. And in context here, he's saying it's not enough to just develop powerful new medicines. They have to make their way from the lab to the hospitals, clinics, and homes where people need them. That journey doesn't happen automatically. Buying medical supplies and getting them where they're needed may sound easy, even boring, but it isn't. Saving lives in developing countries often means getting medicines to remote villages and war zones. Over the past 2 decades, my wife Melinda and I have put a total of $10 billion into organizations that do this challenging work. And then he cites 3 of those institutions. So you see, his money isn't going to some fund to generate a return financially for him, but he's talking about investing in companies or financing companies that do this noble work. Further on, he makes the point here. The $10 billion that we gave to help provide vaccines, drugs, bed nets, and other supplies in developing countries created an estimated $200 billion in social and economic benefits. So that's that 20-to-1 return on investment he's talking about, that they gave money to buy practical things, which in turn alleviated the disease in that country, which had a positive impact on their economy. It goes back up here, it says, when Melinda and I began investing in these funds back in 2000, our goal was to save lives and stop suffering. And by that measure, these institutions have succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. But they've also been successful in the way that investments traditionally are. They've created a lot of wealth because when people aren't sick in bed, they can go to work or school. So he's saying that he's invested in these funds, these institutions that do this work. And just like investments should generate wealth, he's saying they have, again, in the context of strengthening their society or their economy, because people can go back to work. Then he finishes up here at the end, and he cites these institutions again, and he said that the closest things that we have to surefire bets to alleviate suffering and save lives. They're the best investments that Melinda and I have made in the past 20 years, and they're some of the best investments the world can make in the years ahead. Again, in the sense that not financial gain for Bill personally, but to alleviate suffering and save lives. Likewise, the video showed this excerpt where it talks about his 20-to-1 profit return. But again, it's not his personal profit. If you read it to the end, it's talking about the economic benefit for these people. So I'm not making a case for or against Bill Gates. The point here is use solid truth for support. Don't grab loose ends to interpret things to fit your own narrative.